Welcome, spread fans, to our Mock Draft 3.0. I'm your host, Jim Sella, in studio with J-Dash, Big Easy, and JK47. Full house today.
Welcome to the Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Well, this is it, fans. This is our final mock draft. It's coming up in about 3 weeks. I did a little bit of research here, not much. I just figured I'd tell you all what I think. How's that go? What do you think, Dash? Who cares about the research? Throw it out.
Please believe. Everybody heard everything about these guys in our last two mock drafts anyways.
Believe it. Well, we're going to get started with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're on the clock.
Do we really need to go over the team needs is the question, because we know who they're going to draft, right? Everybody's been saying
it's
it
one
forever.
of two guys, Winston or Mariota.
Yeah, and I highly doubt they go Mariota now over Winston.
I've been hearing a couple things, a couple articles saying they may take Mariota over Winston now, but to me it's just stupid smoke screens that they're trying. Yeah, it always happens right before the draft.
They also need a D-end, offensive lineman, and a linebacker.
Yeah, they cut several players deemed salary cap expendable this year. GM Jason Licht, I believe is the way you say it, and Coach Lovie Smith. They're starting their rebuilding process. They kind of came in last year. They didn't do a whole lot of overhaul on the roster, so now they're really getting into the nitty-gritty, and they're trying to turn that team into something they want, not something they were given.
Tell you what, they had a rookie last year, rookie wide receiver that blew up. His name is Mike Evans, and they really need to bring someone in that can get him the ball, because they got Vincent Jackson on the other side, too. Yeah. This offense could look pretty decent if they have a good quarterback.
If you can get a guy that can move the ball downfield with Jackson and Evans, they're both big receivers. They're big, tall, they're strong, they're physical. They're the prototypical type NFL receiver now. You got to put a quarterback in there. It's going to make them instantly competing, I guess I'd say, in the division.
I mean, they still have some work to do on their defense.
Definitely, but the division winner last year was sub 7-9, right?
Exactly.
7-8-1, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, you're not going to win many football games finishing 29th overall in rushing, I can tell you that much.
Well, if you get a passing game, it also helps out your run game, too.
They got the muscle hamster, Doug Martin. What's the other guy?
Sims. But listen, early in our first two mock drafts, you were saying Winston's more of a NFL-type quarterback. And listen, he's already a proven winner. He won every game he played in his
except one
final 2 seasons, except the final game, the national championship.
The only game he ever lost in college.
Or was it the semifinal?
Easy. Was it a semifinal that Winston lost?
Yeah, it was the semifinal.
Yeah, they did.
Because it was that playoff thing.
Oregon smoked them.
Yeah.
The biggest knock on Mariota is he can't run a huddle. He can't control an NFL huddle the way he should. I guess we'll find out. I think Tampa Bay's taking Winston 100%.
I mean, I'm not sold on either one of these quarterbacks, to tell you the truth. It's hard to sell me on a quarterback, but if I was going to choose one right now, I'm going to go with Winston.
Winston is, I mean, they're both big, quite honestly. If you look at their size and everything, they're both pretty much the same size. I just think Winston's more NFL ready right now, and in today's NFL, they want you to win right now.
So does that mean Tennessee on the clock goes Mariota? We had that in our first mock. We changed it around in the second and said, who? Leonard Williams, I believe it was?
I'm sticking with Leonard Williams. Listen to this. Tennessee might not even pick here at number 2. I am hearing a lot of rumors coming out of San Diego that Ken Whisenhunt wants to get his hands on Phillip Rivers. Rivers is upset because the Chargers may move out of San Diego, and he's told the organization if they move, he's not staying. He doesn't want to leave San Diego. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, because if he goes to a different team, he's going to have to leave San Diego. So, the Tennessee Titans with Ken Whisenhunt are really looking to get Phil Rivers. They're thinking about sending the second pick to San Diego for Rivers and San Diego's first-round pick.
If I was Tennessee, I'd jump on that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, as much as I hate Rivers, he's proven he can win at the NFL level, and none of these young guys have proven squat yet.
Plus, you still have a first-round pick
coming
up in your back pocket.
Right.
But yeah, if you say Rivers or Mariota, 10 times out of 10, I'm going to take Rivers right now.
Yeah, especially if you're ready to win right now, which Tennessee thinks they are. I guess every team thinks they're ready to win right now, though.
Yeah, I'd highly disagree with that. I really don't think if they did bring in a quarterback, I really don't think they have the greatest weapons around.
Oh, I agree with that. I'm not saying I think they're going to win right now. I'm saying they think they're going to win right now.
Understandable.
Tennessee, they're garbage.
Yeah.
But they need an offensive tackle. They need a D lineman, a safety, and of course a quarterback, like you were saying. I would bring in Rivers myself.
They also need a cornerback, but they signed Parrish Cox. That helps out a little bit. He's more of a stopgap, not necessarily long-term. They're hoping they can beef up maybe the O-line or the D-line right now and go corner later in the draft. Right tackle as a whole, they may address early. Probably not here at number 2. I don't really think there's any tackles like... was it Greg Robinson last year, I think, for the Rams or something, went real high.
I mean, there's Scherff and Peat.
Right.
They're definitely not top 5 picks.
No. The team is transitioning to a 3-4 defense with Ray Horton as their defensive coordinator and Dick LeBeau as a senior assistant on staff. So, of course, they need pass rushers. They need a D-line that can control the line of scrimmage, and they need linebackers that can get to the quarterback. To me, this just says the Titans need to take the defensive end, Leonard Williams. He may not be that outside pass rusher guy that Dick LeBeau's used to as far as like a James Harrison, Kevin Green type player. He's a guy that can move along the line. Something that can be more of a hybrid there. Maybe play some D-end. On passing downs, you may see him stand up every once in a while. Mostly just probably going to rush the passer off the edge. LeBeau's going to have to adjust his 3-4 scheme a little bit to today's NFL. You can't just keep having 3 D linemen and 4 linebackers on the field at all times when the other team has 5 wide receivers.
Well, listen, no matter where he plays on the line, this guy is explosive, so he can create a pass rush himself anyways. So it's only a bonus.
What is he, like 6'5", 300?
Yeah, a little over 300 pounds. Dude's a beast.
I just tell him to get a running start like Polamalu used to. He wouldn't even have to jump over the line, just run right through it.
And he got a nice little fro going, too.
Gotta love the players with the fro. But Dick LeBeau and Ray Horton can do good things with a guy like this. What about another terrible team from down south? The Jacksonville Jaguars at number 3.
They have a lot of needs. They had a lot of problems last season. They were not good in really any category. They had a rookie quarterback. He still needs to learn, obviously. We're talking about Blake Bortles. But they need to put weapons around him, too.
Bortles gets hot ass. That's all he's worried about. 47. Did they even finish above the top 20 in either defensive category, passing or rushing?
Nothing at all. Actually, almost dead last in passing.
Garbage.
187.6 yards per game.
Listen, there's players there. I like some of the receivers, Allen Robinson, Allen Hurns. They're not great. They're okay role players. Even Denard Robinson, the running back. He's a good running back. He's not something...
Injury prone.
Yeah, he's injury prone. He's not a franchise piece. You got to still put players around Bortles. But this defense is even worse. So, I mean, they have problems with cornerback, safety, inside linebacker, D-end, outside linebacker. They have a lot of needs they got to fill on the defensive side, and I think that's more important right now.
Well, they've actually virtually had no pass rush at all.
With free agent addition of Jeremy Purnell, it's going to help the right tackle spot a little bit, but the interior line could use... I don't maybe want to say improvement because they've been drafting guys, but maybe some depth back there. It's not something they're going to look at in the first round. The defense definitely needs better cover corners and a free safety. There's no way they're going to compete with the Colts for the division if they're 27th in passing and 22nd in rushing on defense. Gerhardt was a bust. Sorry, Easy. And Denard Robinson, that you mentioned a minute ago, Dash, he's a great complement player and he's a good offensive weapon, but he's not an every down back.
Not at all.
They were in the running for DeMarco Murray, but they didn't want to pay him what Philadelphia paid him. I heard a few rumors that they were in the Adrian Peterson race, but I doubt that, and it doesn't look like Peterson's going anywhere if you ask me. I think he's going to be stuck with Minnesota. So I think that Jacksonville goes Dante Fowler Jr., the outside linebacker from Florida here. He's the best player available right now. Jacksonville needs to start looking at best player available. Some of the corners in the draft that are the top corners just aren't worth it at the 3rd pick.
Jacksonville is really high on Fowler Jr. Even if Gregory didn't fail his drug test, Shane Ray's still there, Vic Beasley's still there. Those are options for him, but they really like Fowler, and this is definitely the pick here.
You know Jacksonville's been watching him since day one at Florida. I mean, come on, they're right there. It's a drive down the road to go see this kid play. They'd be stupid if their scouts didn't hit every single, college down there, every single game. So they know everything about this kid. They brought him in for their interviews. They talked to him at the scouting combine. We don't even need to give his combine stats because he blew people away at the combine. He blew people away in the interviews. I haven't heard one bad thing about this guy.
Yeah, the only really other option that was here for me when we did this last mock draft was Randy Gregory. And obviously, since he failed the drug test, he moved down. So there's no other pick here, really.
Yeah, weed's not legal in Florida yet, so Jacksonville's not going to sign him because they don't want to get him suspended. You know what I heard real quick? Le'Veon Bell got an extra game on his suspension because weed is illegal in Pennsylvania. So just because it's illegal in this state, he got the extra day, whereas if he was doing it in a state where it was legal, he would have only got 2. It's a little fishy to me.
Steelers are bringing in your
sort of
boy
makes
Randy.
sense. He was doing nothing illegal if it was in Denver, you know what I mean? Just something against the NFL's rules. He was actually doing something illegal here in Pennsylvania.
I just don't like, I don't know, it's weird to me, the laws.
Yeah,
Tomlin actually told Gregory that we got some fire out here, and they're bringing him in for a look.
Why not?
Le'Veon Bell's pumped.
He loves it. Le'Veon wants all the pot smokers to come in. Well, what about our number 4 team, Oakland Raiders? You know everybody out in Oakland smoking the good endo, sipping on gin and juice.
And just hating on us on YouTube.
Yeah, you Raiders fans hate us.
Well, it's because a couple of us don't like Derek Carr. I personally do not think Derek Carr is the answer at quarterback, but you do, so you're going to move forward with Derek Carr as your quarterback. That's fine. Easy. No Derek Carr for you, yes?
Well, it doesn't matter to me. He's not gonna. He's not.
Is he going to turn into a top 5, top 7 QB?
He ain't even gonna be Jay Cutler in his career. So what does that say? Is he? Are they gonna go? They're gonna win some football games? Yeah, but they're not gonna do nothing.
How about you, 47?
I don't know. I'm totally hating on Oakland.
What about Derek Carr? You love him? Hate him?
Yeah, I want to know about Derek Carr.
The Raiders fans need to know this.
And don't call him David Carr. People
hate. They will riot. They will burn down your house.
Is that the other one? The other?
That's his older brother, yes.
So anyway, non-David Carr. No, I'm not a big fan myself. He showed a little bit of flashes last year at times.
Yeah, he had some big games. I think he had a 4-touchdown game.
I'm not saying he's not going to be an average to, maybe a little bit above average.
I mean, he can do what Jay Cutler does.
He's Jay Cutler at best.
He's no Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning.
Yeah,
Brett Favre.
You got to look at it this way too.
It's not a bad.
Yeah, not everybody's a superstar, but Derek
Jay
Carr,
Cutler's getting laid.
You're just not that good.
I got to say this too. I mean, who really does he throw the ball to? Who's Andre Holmes?
Yeah, they really don't have.
I don't know. Honestly, I can't answer that question. 47. I'm sorry.
Well, we know who he is. He's just not the answer out there. They definitely need to put weapons around him if they want him to succeed. They need to bring in a running back too.
Yeah, and you know what? Getting rid of McFadden and letting Jones-Drew retire was the right thing to do.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Get away from those players. McFadden gave you a few good years, Oakland. Then he's been garbage ever since. The organization was trying to hold on to him in hopes that he would get back to that form. It's just never going to happen. Dallas, you're the stupidest franchise in football if you think Darren McFadden is going to replace what DeMarco Murray did last year.
Yeah, that's just stupidity.
That's garbage.
But Oakland, they could, on the defensive side, they could use a cornerback or a defensive end as well.
The team has a lot of holes. Drafting the best player available is probably going to be their best option. A weapon for Derek Carr should be their number 1 priority if they want him to be anything other than average. They could also add a few cornerbacks to add talent to a depleted position. Like you said, there is a need at D-end and possibly D-line. That's not something they need to address in the first round, especially at the 4th pick. That's more of a 3rd, maybe 2nd.
Well, I tell you what, though. Beasley, Ray, and Gregory they got to at least think about it a little bit.
Yeah, they need more of D-line help, not so much linebacker help. I think maybe Shane Ray, more of a Vic Beasley, if they would go defense.
Well, I tell you what, Ken Norton Jr. got to be trying to get them to bring one of these guys in, let me tell you. And Rod Woodson probably wants him to draft, Trae Waynes.
Yeah. But we all know Oakland. I know it's not Al Davis anymore. One of our fans pointed out in the comments in our other mock that it's not the same organization as it used to be.
Yeah,
I hope you're right for
direction.
Raiders fans' sake, because all Al Davis did was draft the fastest player available in every single round. It was pretty bad. But I do think they're going to take the fastest wide receiver, or at least the fastest first-round wide receiver, Kevin White out of West Virginia. To me, it's between him and Amari Cooper. They want to put weapons with Derek Carr. They want Derek Carr to succeed. They're not going to go after another quarterback in this draft or next year's draft. They got to see what he can do, and to help him out, you need weapons. They got no run game.
Yeah, please believe. Did they bring in a running back?
You know what? I keep thinking they did, but I can't think of who it was.
Latavius Murray's a good running back to
Yeah.
me. I like him. I mean, he's not going to be the answer long term.
No, I like him as a weapon, though, J.
Yeah, I would definitely be satisfied with him going into next season. But
Roy
Halou.
Halou Jr.
Yeah,
that's
there
who
you
they
go.
signed. Hey, him and Murray
I
may
like that guy,
be a good
too.
1-2
Well,
combination.
Yeah, they also picked up Trent Richardson, the former first-round pick.
Bust.
Completely.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right. What if he tore it up this year? Who knows?
I highly doubt it.
There's talent there. Who knows? Maybe he's gonna like it in Oakland and start sipping that gin.
I don't think he has much talent.
I don't even remember them signing him. Teaching me something new, 47.
That's how we do here at the Spread.
But what do you think, Dash? White or Cooper? Who would you take if you're the Raiders?
Well, we originally thought Cooper. Cooper was the guy that most people thought was the best receiver in his draft. Then the Combine came along, and Kevin White done blew it up.
Yeah.
And really, what is there not to like about Kevin White?
I don't know.
Outside of the fact that he did not play in a pro-style offense in college,
Right.
which hurts. Amari Cooper played in more of that
Alabama.
type of offense, so he might get acclimated to it a little faster than White, but I think White has the more upside.
Easy, you're the big college guy. You've probably seen a couple West Virginia games last season. Did you see Kevin White play at all?
Well, you know what? It's hard to assess how. Yeah, you could do well in college, but
Especially
then when
like a school like West Virginia.
when you get to that pro level, it's a different story. So I'm not 100%. Me personally, I'm not 100% convinced that White can just step in and all of a sudden him and Carr are going to become Wayne and Peyton. You know what I mean?
Would you go Cooper, who played in the more pro-style offense?
No,
over White?
I don't care what style offense you played in college.
Just too much different.
It doesn't
play
matter.
From
Amari
college to
Cooper
football.
might not
Or
know.
college to pro.
He might be stupid, and Kevin White might be very smart. So
Well, listen,
I don't know.
White's 6'3", 215 pounds. That's one thing I like
Yeah,
about him.
it's 6'3". Yeah.
And he runs a hell of a 40.
He
just looks fluid out there.
That's
I
the thing
don't know.
that's the thing about the draft, which makes it enticing every year.
Yep.
You got these rookies, and you're going to see what they can do, and you might as well. It sounds good to me. You might as well take him. And I mean, I'm not going to say he's going to be the best, but I like that pick.
Throw bleep at the wall and see if it sticks, right? Well, let's move on to the number 5 team here, the Washington Wait, I don't think I can say that. The Washington NFL team that plays there. What do they need, Dash?
Well, they need help at safety, on the offensive line, mostly offensive tackle, outside linebacker, and running back.
They did sign Chris Culliver. That helps them out for a year before they have to go after a corner. Everybody in this room knows Washington's not competing for a Super Bowl next year or this year, whatever you want to call it.
Not when you give up your whole draft for Griffin.
Yeah. They had one of the worst secondaries last year, so they had to get somebody. Culliver helps them out. Nose tackle Terrence Knighton is a big help in the middle. Inside linebacker can use a little bit of upgrading. And this may be the year they get it right at right tackle. I doubt it, though, because they don't really know what they're doing. 47, what did they rank in pass defense last year?
249.4 yards a game, 24th overall.
Nice. And then they ranked, 12th against the run. So if they could have been respectable against the pass, maybe they win some more games.
They were very good against the run last year, actually.
The division is shook up now. The way that Philadelphia changed, Dallas. I mean, that whole division is wild.
It is.
But I'm not gonna give up on RG3's old dude. I'm telling you.
I don't think I would give up on him either. I just think it's weird that the coach hates him.
I don't know about that.
Jay Gruden hates him, dude. I've been following it ever since Gruden got there. He, for some reason, just really doesn't like RG3.
I see no reason why they
Maybe
can't
RG
compete in that division.
Maybe RG3 finds the Redskins' name and logo offensive.
Who do you think? Who are they looking at?
I think they're going to take Shane Ray, the defensive end out of Missouri. It's going to help with their pass rush. Anytime you get pass rush help, it helps with your pass defense. If the quarterback only has 2 seconds to throw, your defensive backs don't even have time to get beat. So it's going to help out in that instance. And I don't think there's a defensive back good enough to take at number 5. Whether or not Ray can move to outside linebacker is the one issue. I've heard a few people say that he could. I'm not totally sold on it. How big is he, Dash? Do you know?
He's 6'3", 245 pounds. He played in a 4-3 defensive right end in college, but he did play a little bit of outside linebacker in some sub packages.
Okay, so he may be able to do it if he can get his footwork right. Maybe better off in a 3-4 where he's more consistently just rushing the passer instead of having to drop back in coverage where like he would be doing in a 4-3.
Like I said, I just said his weight right here. He definitely has the size. He's fast, and he has huge power. So this is a great choice. I also like Vic Beasley, though.
Yeah, Vic Beasley definitely could go.
Beasley, stay up.
For some reason, I just been hearing the Redskins like Ray. I guess maybe he wowed them in their interviews and the meetings.
See, this is where we had Gregory going actually before, but
yeah, he dropped a couple picks.
Nah, that's a little bit too early for that.
For Gregory?
Yeah, especially with his history. That's early for his history.
Yes.
With the money. You can't commit that now.
Yep.
You know for sure. I don't care what he says. You know for sure he's still going to be doing what he does.
He's blazing dank right now as we do this segment.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is there with that. It's not like he's doing heroin.
Right.
Or even, it's not like he's even doing steroids.
Weed's legal in D.C.
He's not even cheating the game. It's such a joke, but it is what it is. The talent's there, but that's way too high for Gregory.
Weed's legal in D.C. Maybe they just draft him and tell the NFL, hey, it's allowed here. What are you going to do about it?
Nah.
Jeff, what about our number 6 team? This is your favorite team in football besides Pittsburgh, right? The New York Jets. Geno Smith is not the answer. Sorry, Jets fans.
So what? Trade up and take Marcus?
I don't think they're going to trade up. I think Mariota drops to number 6 here.
Yeah, that's right. No one else wants him.
Nobody got him.
On the offensive side, they need help at slot wide receiver. They got rid of Percy Harvin, and they brought in Brandon Marshall, who's definitely not a slot wide receiver.
They also brought in Darrell Revis and Antonio Cromartie, bringing back those two, actually, not just bringing them in.
That's wild.
Their passing defense was, I don't know, maybe not god-awful, but terrible last year. What was it, 47?
Actually, it was 14th overall, 234.1 yards per game.
That's
average.
Still not very good, yeah. I think they gave up a lot of
Mediocre.
touchdowns, too, yeah.
Well, listen, their biggest problem was the passing game. They ranked dead last in passing.
Well, Geno Smith's their quarterback.
Yeah, Geno Smith, I think even Jets fans know it now, so we can actually say it. Geno Smith is complete freaking garbage.
I always thought that.
Oh, yeah, we all did here, but Jets fans probably did not.
No. He's a 2nd-round pick. They were just praying that he wasn't.
When you're a fan, you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
You give hope to your
We thought
rookie.
Mike Tomczak was going to get us to the playoffs one year. Come on.
I remember those days.
Tommy Maddox is the answer.
The Jets are going to be looking for edge rusher help, too. Maybe not with this pick. Muhammad Wilkerson is set for a huge payday soon. Players like DeBrickashaw Ferguson and they got big cap hits. They're either going to have to take a pay cut after this year or they could be cut after this season. So an upgrade on O-line, that might actually come up too. Not at 6, but
yeah, they got to upgrade O-line, running back, quarterback. Their whole offense is bad. I mean, Brandon Marshall's their best player right now.
Yeah, definitely. Defense, pretty good last year. 5th against the run. That's excellent. 14th against the pass. Not very good. Rex Ryan leaves New York, goes to Buffalo. Todd Bowles, the Arizona defensive coordinator, leaves Arizona and becomes the head coach in New York. He's going to bring an attacking style defense, and they were okay rushing the passer last year. They just had trouble covering players. So with the additions of Cromartie and Revis, that moves them away from the defensive side of the ball here with the number 6 pick in the draft. And I think they go Marcus Mariota, the quarterback out of Oregon. They're going to reach again for a quarterback.
I actually think they should go for a pass rusher myself, keep working on his defense, make them elite. But they are going to go quarterback because they don't have any quarterback on the team right now. So with Mariota still there, that's what they're going to do.
And the Jets are another team that have talked themselves into believing they can compete for a Super Bowl right now just because they have a good defense. That's why I don't really like the signing of Cromartie and Revis. It really just straps them cap-wise for the next couple years. It doesn't put them over the hump. It's going to win them more games. Don't get me wrong. You always want to win more games. I just think they maybe should have tried to do it through the draft a little better and maybe with some younger players.
Yeah, I mean, they'll never have another chance at Revis and Cromartie. If they'd have let them go, they were never going to be able to get them again. And you do want to win now. Every team is trying to win now. So I see it as a good signing in that way. But you're right, by the time they are ready to win with a good quarterback, it's probably going to be too late for those older corners.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, I don't hate the signings.
No, I just don't know if I would have done it.
Well, if Mariota's the answer, then
Then they're good to go.
Yeah, then they're good to go.
They're going to lose to the Patriots.
Yeah. Who ain't going to lose to the Patriots?
Exactly. Our number 7 team, the Chicago Bears, is going to lose to the Patriots because they are garbage. New head coach this year, John Fox, coming over from Denver because he got fired from there because he couldn't get Peyton Manning to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they need help, a lot of help on the defensive side, I should say.
Yeah.
They need a linebacker, defensive line, corner, anything really.
Yeah, it's weird to see a Bears defense needing anything.
Well, John Fox hired Vic Fangio. He's going to run the defense. He runs a 3-4 defense. John Fox likes a 3-4 defense, but they're not ready to run that style. They need a nose tackle. They need pass rushers. They need possibly safety help to go with their corner help. It's not looking good for the Bears defense for the next couple of years. They need to stock up on defensive picks. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
I think they really need a pass rusher, like I was saying, and I'm hearing the Bears really like Vic Beasley.
They do like Vic Beasley.
And I think that would be a great pick. Now, it's not necessarily the right pick, but I don't think they would go wrong with picking him here.
I just think with losing Brandon Marshall, Jay Cutler's their quarterback they're kind of stuck with for the year. They don't have much else behind Cutler to take over. They still got Forte.
Oh, he's a beast.
Yeah, he's been playing good his whole career.
He's solid.
I tell you what, though, their run game was not good last year. I think they had something like 8 touchdowns on the ground, and they were well below average. Look at that, 27th in the league in rushing.
Ran for 90 yards a game.
But listen, Matt Forte is the best player on this team. The problem is offensive line. They really got to build up that offensive line and feature Matt Forte instead of giving the ball to Jay Cutler to win games.
Yeah. Roberto Garza's 36 years old, so they're definitely going to need a center soon.
Well, Alshon Jeffrey really came into his own last year.
Yeah, and I think if they pair him...
Last 2 years, he's been solid.
Yeah, Alshon Jeffrey's been a beast for a couple years now.
Yeah.
I think if they pair him with Amari Cooper, the wide receiver out of Alabama, it's going to help spread the field out a little bit, which is going to help Forte. Forte's really good in the passing game, so if the safeties can't come up on the line of scrimmage, he's either going to be able to sneak through the line, which is kind of garbage, so maybe not there, but he's going to swing out into the flat, catch some screen passes, catch some swing passes. I've seen him line up in the slot and catch passes before. Dash, you're completely right. They need so much defensive help, but I don't know. For some reason, I have this weird feeling they're going to take Cooper.
Yeah, defense and offensive line. So this may not be the right pick either, but he does look like a beast wide receiver, and it'd be hard to pass up.
Especially when you just gave up somebody like Brandon Marshall.
Yeah.
He was
Well,
so
they were
good
tired
for
of
them.
him, I think.
Yeah, they were. It's funny because he got there, everybody said he had an attitude. 2 years later, they say he reformed himself and became this great guy who works with the community of Chicago and everything. And then he does like 1 or 2 bad things, and they're like, you're garbage later.
All right, let's move on to number 8, the Atlanta Falcons.
Caw-caw.
Pump that noise up.
They need help at
I
outside.
can't hear you. There's artificial noise being pumped into the studio.
Pump it up, Hawks. Pump.
All right, well, they need help at outside and inside linebacker. They could use a tight end, obviously not at pick number 8. They need a guard, wide receiver help they could use, and defensive back help, too.
They can spice up that running game of theirs a little bit too, J-Dash.
The signings of defensive end Adrian Claiborne and O'Brien Schofield help the defense, but they still need a lot of work. They need a pass rusher. They need an upgraded inside linebacker, like Dash said. On the offensive side, they need left guard help. They're a mess. That's why they had to pump noise into the stadium. It was the only way to win.
But you know what? They feel like they're just off too. They had a good year last year.
Yeah, well, they had an okay year. They're
So-
picking number 8, so they didn't have that great
They
of
were
a year.
terrible last year.
They got better as the year went on.
See, I get confused because they played a game to win the division, yet I forgot
Yeah.
that whole division was garbage.
And
But still, they were one game away from making
You're
that
right.
playoff.
They got Roddy White and Julio Jones. So when we say they need wide receiver help, we're not saying they need a starting wide receiver, maybe a slot guy. But I'm hearing Vic Beasley, the linebacker out of Clemson, Atlanta's fallen in love with him. Everybody in the organization loves him. They think he is their can't-miss prospect. Pass rush, that's it. You got to rush the passer in this league to win. Who are they in a division with? The Saints?
Carolina.
Tampa
Bay.
Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's going to get Winston, so you're going to have Winston, Cam Newton, and Drew Brees in your division. Got to get to the quarterback.
Listen, they were really interested in Fowler before his stock rose. It doesn't look like they have a chance at him now. They also liked Gregory before he failed his drug test, but it doesn't look like they're going to take him now. Arik Armstead is also a possibility, but really Vic Beasley is the man.
Look for him to go tight end in the late rounds because they still haven't been able to find a replacement for Tony Gonzalez.
Max Williams, is that his name?
Yeah, but I don't think he'll last past the second round. Our number 9 team, the New York Giants, had an up and down year last year. Eli struggled, but then played well and then kind of struggled. He threw a lot of picks, but he threw for a lot of yards, so people were confused by his stats, thinking that he had a great year. They finished 7th in passing overall in the NFL, so it looks like their offense was great. It could just be more consistent, turn the ball over a little less. They do have a couple team needs. On the defensive side of the ball, it's free safety and D tackle. On the offensive side of the ball, it's O-line, 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 tight end, and O-line.
They do need offensive line help, and all the linemen are still there, so they have their choice.
Andrus Peat, the tackle out of Stanford, seems like the safe pick for me here for the New York Giants at number 9. He's the best tackle on their board. They need O-line help. They need to keep Eli upright. He's what makes their offense tick. So if he's laying with his face in the ground, you got nothing.
The Giants have went offense the past 3 years, and really with Danny Shelton there too, he could be a possibility on the defensive side because their offense was ranked 7th last season, and their defense was ranked 31st. So they really need help on the defensive side too. But with all the top linemen still there.
You're right, they do need defensive help. They need a free safety. They need a weak side linebacker. John Beeson's injury history could, you could say they need an inside linebacker also. So you're right, they definitely, Danny Shelton could be a possibility here, but I don't know. I'm keeping Eli upright if I'm spending hundreds of millions of dollars on this guy. And he's going to get a big contract, very similar to Ben's contract. And who was the guy who got one just before Ben? Kaepernick got one recently. I forget. There was somebody else who got one right before Ben.
Jay Cutler,
Andy Dalton, all those quarterbacks.
Flacco. He did. He got a huge contract.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, it
He's
was a
ridiculous.
couple years ago.
But I definitely think they go Peat. Offensive tackle just seems right here for me. Dallas rushes the passer pretty well. The Eagles are going to rush the passer pretty well. Washington may rush the passer. We'll see how they go. I'm protecting Eli.
Well, that moves us to number 10, the St. Louis Rams. There's a lot of choices they could take. They could go with a lineman. They could go the top corner in Trae Waynes. They could even look at safety Landon Collins at this point.
Definitely.
They could take a look at one of the wide receivers if the top 2 are still there, or even if Devante Parker's there.
I don't know if I'm going to reach for Parker at number 10 with the best guard still on the board, the best corner still on the board, and the best safety still on the board. I'm not taking the 3rd best receiver with the 10th pick.
He could turn out to be the best receiver. It's all depending on what you think.
You're right.
But yeah, I agree. You don't go wide receiver here unless Cooper or White fall.
They need a lot of offensive line. They need guard help. They need center help. They could use a right tackle for a swing tackle. Nobody to start, but somebody who can play both positions as a backup.
They need is a game changer on offense.
You're damn right about that. They haven't had a big-time wide receiver since Torrey Holt or Isaac Bruce.
Danny Ramendola.
Ramendola.
So how do you feel about Austin Davis as their quarterback?
He's not going to be their quarterback. It's going to be Nick Foles.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Big trade, Sam Bradford to Philly. That was the biggest move St. Louis made in the offseason. They traded one old, injury-prone beat quarterback for a young beat quarterback. Sorry, Rams fans. I think
I'd rather have Nick Foles than Sam Bradford myself.
Yeah, probably. They're going to go the safe pick here to me, and they're going to go offensive line. It's a matter of who they have highest on the board. I think they're going to go Brandon Scherff, the guard out of Iowa. He's the best guard on my board. I'm hearing a lot of things that he's either 1 or 2 on their board. Peat is, the best tackle we have ranked, so he's already just gone to New York. So again, the Rams they need to protect their quarterback. They want to be able to run the ball better. They got a pretty good defense. They just signed Nick Fairley.
Speaking of running the ball, I like Trae Mason, but they really have no other viable options out there, so they really got to look at a running back later in this draft, too.
Yeah, running back 2nd round, maybe 3rd round.
Possibly.
Easy. We're going to move on to your favorite, well, maybe not favorite team, but team with your favorite quarterback. Terry Bridgewater's team, the Minnesota Vikings, here at number 11.
You better start calling him Teddy. People are going to start getting confused.
No, I love it because the Vikings are actually the very first opponent of the new season with our Pittsburgh Steelers in that Hall of Fame game. But
so we get to see Terry for all of one drive, maybe?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't even know if they play that game. I'll tell you what, the Vikings, they really need some help at offensive line because they need if you got a quarterback there, you need to protect them. A couple other spots where they might need to shore up is possibly a running back, cornerback, or a defensive tackle. They can compete. I mean, I have faith in Terry.
Good.
Yeah, he looks okay. Like didn't look like he was, confused by what was needed to be done on the football field at an NFL level. So I have a little bit of promise with them. Maybe I don't know what's the situation with Peterson. What's going on there? I don't know.
They don't want to blink. The Vikings have basically took the stand of you are going to play here or you're not going to play at all.
So, they're not going to need any help at running back if they got Peterson. I don't care if he...
I like Jerick McKinnon, too, but I don't know if the Peterson situation is going to work out, and you can't just rely on it either. Now, I'm not saying take a running back at pick 11. Obviously, you don't want to do that. But maybe round 3, round 4, you find a decent running back, and even if Peterson does come back, he can still be a useful piece for you.
If Peterson moves, it's going to be during either right before the draft or during the top, 10 to 15 picks, because it's not worth trading him for anything after that. So the Vikings will know whether or not they got him by this point in time. Matt Khalil struggled at the end of his rookie contract. They need depth at interior line on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball. And they could upgrade the corner spot opposite Xavier Rhodes, and they could use at least one more starter at linebacker.
Yeah, they really need to shore up their run defense more than anything on the defensive side. But offensively, they really got to make sure they keep your boy Terry upright too.
Definitely. Best way to make your young quarterback successful is don't let him get him smashed.
Yeah, Easy implied that earlier. He didn't come out and exactly say it, but that's true. The only way he's going to grow is if he's standing up.
Believe it. It's the only way any quarterbacks can grow. That's why we think Winston, comparing the sizes, they're both the same size, Winston and Mariota, but I just think he can take that beating as a young guy better than Mariota can. And that means a lot. So for Bridgewater, he needs to stand up or he can't throw the ball downfield.
But even though their pass defense was better than their rushing defense last season, with the top corner still on the board, it would be pretty hard to pass them up.
Especially when you play Aaron Rodgers twice a year and Matt Stafford twice a year. And, well, we're not going to say Jay Cutler because he sucks. But, yeah, when you're playing Stafford, you're playing Rodgers, you're in a pass-heavy league. The best corner, Trae Waynes from Michigan State, still on the board. Minnesota's got to take him here, if you ask me. It helps their defense. They were 7th against the pass last year, 25th against the rush. If you shut down the other team's passing game, that's the best way defensively to try to swing it in your favor. It's not stop the run and force them to pass anymore. It's stop the pass and hope they don't have a good running back.
Moving on, number 12.
Boo!
The Cleveland Browns.
Brownies.
Now, their GM said the main thing they want to do...
Kevin Costner?
Kevin Costner traded their next 3 first-round picks, so they shouldn't even be here. But anyways, Ray Farmer is their general manager. What he wants to do is... Even though they need help at wide receiver, he wants to focus on the offensive and defensive lines early in his draft.
This whole organization's a mess. Farmer's in trouble for texting people when he shouldn't be. The owner Haslam's in trouble for stealing money from people's credit cards or stealing their points that they earned at his truck stops. Manziel just finally got out of rehab after spending twice as long as he was supposed to there.
And you brought in Dwayne Bowe for some reason.
They traded for Dwayne Bowe or signed him. I can't remember.
They signed him and Hartline. But they lost Cameron and Gordon. So.
They've wasted first-round picks on Trent Richardson, Brandon Weeden, I mean, countless guys. They need to get it right. Josh Gordon's suspended, so they bring in Brian Hartline. Jordan Cameron's gone. They bring in
They
Bo.
have drafted some decent corners over the past few years.
The guy they drafted last year, I can't remember his name, but he did not live up to what they wanted.
I mean, their pass defense was probably the best part of their team, wasn't it?
Yeah. Just that guy wasn't on the field. What is his name? Justin.
Someone the
Dean
Steelers
Milner?
wanted
I don't know.
were
That might have
thinking
been for the
about or
Jets.
something. Justin Gilbert?
Justin Gilbert, that's what it was. The Browns, they just need help all over the place. Nose tackle Danny Shelton is the pick for me. He's coming from Washington. Just like Dash said, they want to shore up the O-line and the D-line. Old school NFL guys still say if you control both sides of the ball as far as the line of scrimmage, you're going to win football
Up
games.
front, yeah.
So that's what Farmer is. That's what he wants to do. That's the kind of team they want to be. In the AFC North, when you're playing Pittsburgh, you're playing Baltimore, you're playing Cincinnati, it's a tough game. It's a physical game. You got to win that physical battle.
And I think this is a steal of a pick here with Danny Shelton at number 12.
Definitely. Teams before this didn't need that big, beefy nose tackle. You got to run a 3-4 defense to really need somebody like this.
I think number 13, the New Orleans Saints, are going to get a steal as well. They need help everywhere.
Dude,
First of all, they are in so much trouble. I don't understand how they are going to win.
When you trade Jimmy Graham to the team that was in the Super Bowl in your conference that you're competing with to try to get to that means you're in so much salary cap trouble you don't even know what to do. You just made the best team in the NFC even better because you were so cap strapped. Worst trade of the offseason for me as far as the Saints play. For the Seahawks, it was the best trade of the offseason because they got somebody who instantly makes Russell Wilson even better. Breeze is 36. He's in the final 2 years of his deal. They're not going to draft a quarterback now, but it's definitely time to start thinking about one. Kenny Stills and Ben Grubbs are gone. Cap casualties. They need to replace both of them. Just like we said, Jimmy Graham's gone. Never going to replace him in this draft anyway. They're still cap strapped. They're going to have to restructure or release some more veterans before the draft even gets here. And they have no pass rush. So I don't really know what you want me to say good about them.
Really, losing all this offense hurts, but when you have Drew Brees, your offense is still going to be somewhat decent.
Right.
But defensively, this team is just horrible.
What were they ranked last year? 47?
25th in the pass, 29th rushing.
Yeah, there it is.
251 and 132 yards per game, respectively.
Stats don't lie.
They didn't win their
All
division.
besides in NFL, stats lie all the freaking time. But anyways, this is going to be a steal because Randy Gregory, to us, was a top 5 pick.
Definitely.
But you fail a
Smoked a little
drug
too
test.
much endo.
Listen, when people fail drug tests, it's true. They do fall down the draft. It's happened hundreds of times.
Believe it.
And it's going to happen in this draft. And somebody's going to get a steal with Gregory. And it would be perfect for the Saints to get that steal.
Boom. You throw him down to New Orleans with all the partying, Bourbon Street, the nightlife, Mardi Gras. You pump them full of drugs and alcohol, and you send them on the field. Yes. But I agree. It's going to be Randy Gregory. If he's still there, no way the Saints don't take the linebacker from Nebraska. No way. Moving along, number 14, the Miami Bullies. I mean, the Miami Dolphins. Sorry, I get confused. They like to bully people and make them feel sad. Ooh, boo-hoo. They need a wide receiver, a guard, a corner, a running back, a linebacker. They picked up Kenny Stills from the Saints. He's not a legit number 1. They got rid of Mike Wallace. They sent him to Minnesota. Sorry, Minnesota fans, we forgot to say that. Bridgewater did get a little help, Mike Wallace, so he can run straight down the field
I don't
and
even
drop
count
the
that
ball.
as help.
Tannehill will like the addition of Stills, but he still needs help. They need some guard help. Pouncey got hurt last year, ended the season at guard with, I forget the guy's name at center, but they're moving Pouncey back to center. They just re-signed Pouncey to a new deal, very similar to his brother's deal. So he's definitely going to be their starting center. They brought in the best player in free agency in Ndamukong Suh. They gave him more money than he can handle. I don't know about it.
And Ndamukong Suh, you don't know about it?
I don't know about the money that they gave him. Is Suh gonna stay motivated? Come on.
He's a beast. That's
we've
all
all
I
seen
know.
him play. We know he can play, but if he doesn't stay motivated, is he going to continue to play well?
I'd take the chance on it myself. If you have the cap room, take the chance.
100
Miami
million,
took the chance.
That's quarterback
Miami
money.
made a little bit of noise this offseason, not too much, but I think they got better. They have a decent quarterback in Tannehill. Listen, he had a decent season last year.
Yeah, he's a big guy. He's got a strong arm. If he can get some players around him, they got Stills. I think they're going to take Devante Parker, the wide receiver out of Louisville, somebody you talked about a few picks ago. He's the third-ranked wide receiver on our board. He's a big guy at 6'3", 209. He provides Tannehill with that physical presence, somebody that can go over the middle. I know Stills isn't a legit number one and likes to work the slot, but I'm not talking about the slot. I'm talking about that skinny post where you run straight up the field and cut in right in front of that safety and get laid out when you catch the football.
Bringing in Stills, drafting Parker, that could be huge for this offense. They signed
Jordan Cameron.
Yeah.
They still have Clay. I don't think they sent him to Buffalo yet.
No? I mean, that combination of tight end would be huge, too. Yeah, this offense is starting to come around a little bit. They also need some cornerback help. They could end up drafting maybe that, what's his name, Kevin Johnson as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Devante Parker here. Keep building on your offense.
Especially with a young guy like Tannehill.
Because, I mean, their defense wasn't too terrible last season. They need help stopping the run. But they had a good pass defense last year.
Yeah, 6th against the pass, 24 against the rush. Sue's definitely going to help out there against both, quite honestly, because he'll put pressure on the quarterback and help stop the run. They're not going to beat the Patriots for the division, but Tom Brady's going to retire sooner or later.
I'm tired of hearing this.
Hey, dude, the Patriots just keep doing it.
Tom Brady is going to be a bust next season. I'm calling it right now. Listen, Tom Brady is not going to last forever. There's going to be a year where he's garbage, and it got to come soon. It's going to be next year. Somebody else is going to win this division.
I felt the same way about Shaquille O'Neal for years, and that dude just kept playing good.
Just so big. He's as tall as the frickin' rim.
I hope it's this year that the Patriots lose the lock on the division, but I think it's going to be another 2 or 3 years. But Miami's putting themselves ready. They're getting young players, Stills, Tannehill. Parker's a young guy. Sue's not young, but he's really not that old either. Their O-line, the good ones are young, so they're getting ready. They're going to make a splash.
I think this whole division got better.
What about a team on the other coast, the San Francisco 49ers? They're our 15th team in the draft. They've had a huge upheaval in the offseason. Shipped off John Harbaugh to Michigan. Everybody called Colin Kaepernick a little baby.
Patrick Willis is peace.
Patrick Willis pieced out. Bortland, I forget his name.
Chris Borland
just retired because he said he didn't want his brain to turn to mush.
Frank
Gore rolled out. Ray McDonald's gone.
Justin
Smith's gone. They're begging to bring him back.
They signed Darnell Dockett.
Alden Smith is garbage. I mean, he's great, but he's just going to get arrested and suspended again. Yeah, Darnell Dockett, he's 33 years old. That's going to help him out.
I don't like Colin Kaepernick either.
I don't either. I think he's a cocky loser. I like Russell Wilson better than Kaepernick now.
I thought the signing of Kaepernick to that contract was a huge mistake.
You know what? It's a very team-friendly contract when you break it down and look at it, 47. So if they go to cut him after this year or next year, it's a very small cap hit compared to what you would think. But they need linebacker help, corner help, D-line, O-line, and running back. The best D-tackle left on the board here is Arik Armstead out of Oregon. I think he fits what the 49ers need, especially with Smith going. Justin Smith. They have too many Smiths. They lost too much defense help. They got to go defense here. They also lost, what was that wide receiver's name? Crabtree?
Yeah, he sucked.
Yeah, he was garbage. Waste of a first-round pick. They shipped him out of there. So they're not going to take a wide receiver here, but they're going to need some wide receiver help. But you got to go defense with this pick to me.
I agree. Everything they lost on the defensive side, this team is known for their defense.
Believe it.
In recent years, at least.
Yeah.
Not back in the Montana and Young days, obviously. Even though those defenses
they weren't too
pretty
shabby.
nice themselves.
Charles Haley was on some of them defenses.
But really,
Ken Norton Jr.
This defense, no matter what they do, I think this defense is going to struggle this season. But they got to start rebuilding it now.
Believe it. They lost Willis, Borland, McDonald, and Smith. So that's 4 starters off their defense in one off season.
Well, just losing Willis, I mean, he's pretty much your central nerve for that defense.
Yeah, I was shocked. Our number 16 team has no shot at winning their division, much like the 49ers. The Houston Texans, they got no quarterback. They drafted Tom Savage. They shipped out Ryan Fitzpatrick. They re-signed Ryan Mallett. They need wide receiver help. Linebacker help.
Yeah, Andre Johnson's gone.
Yeah, Andre Johnson's gone. They need corner, guard, and we just said quarterback already. Brian Cushing's isn't as good as he used to be, so they could look at linebacker early. Jadeveon Clowney's health is still up in the air. He had microfracture surgery on his knee. I talked to our athletic trainer, Brandon DeSantis. Brandon said when you have microfracture surgery, I mean, it's 50-50. It really is. There is not enough science even behind it to give a proper diagnosis of what his chances are of coming back at 100% like he used to be. They also lost Brooks Reed. Cornerback Jonathan Joseph's contract is up after this year. So they're in a bit of flux. Bill O'Brien's trying to build his team down there. He did an okay job with Penn State when he was their head coach. He worked with the New England Patriots when he was in the NFL. So he has a good football mind. I don't know if he's righting the ship, though. Their quarterback, it's so bad.
Yeah, it's all about quarterback with them right now. Offense, really, because their defense was good last season. Of course, they have the best defensive player in football, J.J. Watt. Now, picking Jadeveon Clowney number 1 overall, and if he turns out to be a bust, that can set your franchise back. But I'm still not completely worried about this defense next season. It's more the offense. But really, there's not anyone on the offense I would draft right here. Maybe an offensive lineman like Erik Flowers or something. Yeah. But with Kevin Johnson still there, I think that would be a better pick.
Yeah, they're not going to take Melvin Gordon or Todd Gurley here because they still got Arian Foster. So to me, they're going to look at defense. Kevin Johnson out of Wake Forest. You're right. I mean, he's the best corner still on the board.
I'd like to see him actually fall a little farther, maybe to the Steelers.
Either him or Landon Collins or Marcus Peters or any of these other top defensive backs would be nice. You know, what can we say about the Texans except for at least they're not from Canada?
Yeah, I definitely like Kevin Johnson as the pick here. I believe he's the second best corner in the draft. He's 6 foot, 188 pounds. He's good lanky.
Size. I'm hearing he's solid against the run. I never watched the guy play. I don't watch a lot of college. Easy, I know you love college, but I'm sure you don't watch Wake Forest every week.
Well, Pitt's in the ACC, so I do understand what they're doing.
Listen, he's a little bit thin. They'd like him to gain a little bit of weight.
He'll put on weight.
But listen, if he puts on some weight, there's a lot of people that believe that he can actually outperform Trae Waynes in the NFL.
How tall is he?
He's 6 foot.
All right, 6 foot. If he's 188, you put on 10 pounds of muscle.
Yeah,
you're a solid NFL
pounds,
corner.
Yeah,
easy.
The one problem with him is he has a little bit of a problem with the receivers in front of him when they make their break on like a hitch or something.
An option route.
He has a little bit of trouble staying up with him.
Maybe you watch some game film, you get coached up a little bit there, you start to learn people's tendencies and what to look for. You know, a lot of defenders, they use their eyes wrong. You got to look at the waist a little bit and see which way their, you know what I mean, their belt is facing and which way they're going to go. You can't always look at somebody's eyes. Well, let's run it down here for you real quick. Number 1, Tampa Bay, Jameis Winston, quarterback out of Florida State. Number 2, Tennessee, Leonard Williams, the defensive end from USC.
Beast mode.
Number 3, Jacksonville Jaguars, Dante Fowler Jr., the outside linebacker from Florida.
Perfect pick for them.
The Oakland Raiders, whose all fans hate us. We think you're going to get Kevin White, wide receiver from West Virginia.
Probably be a bust.
Stay white.
The Washington football team is going to take Shane Ray, defensive end out of Missouri. The New York Jets are going to take your favorite guy ever, easy, Marcus Mariota, quarterback out of Oregon.
Geno Smith, MVP.
He'll get broke as soon as he gets hit by a linebacker.
The Chicago Bears, although they need a lot of defense, they're looking to go Amari Cooper, wide receiver from Alabama.
Keep Cutler happy.
Bogus.
At 8, you got the Atlanta Falcons getting Vic Beasley, the linebacker from Clemson.
Beast.
Number 9, the New York Giants. They need a lot of offensive line help. They're going to get the best tackle in the draft, Andrus Peat, the tackle from Stanford.
Please believe.
Pete, believe it.
St. Louis Rams, Jeff Fisher's looking to get something done. He wants to control the line of scrimmage. They're getting the best guard in the draft at Brandon Scherff out of Iowa.
Going Scherffing.
Minnesota Vikings are looking to help on defense, maybe help keep some points off the board so Terry Bridgewater doesn't have to score 50 a game. Trae Waynes, the quarterback out of Michigan State.
So many Waynes brothers.
Everybody's favorite team, the Cleveland Brownies, garbage. Probably going to get the best nose tackle in the draft here, though, Danny Shelton from Washington.
Yeah, good pick, good pick.
The New York Saints, they're a team in flux. Breeze is the only solid player down there at the moment. They're going to take Randy Gregory. He slid down our board from about 5 to 13 here from Nebraska. Gregory, quit smoking so much herb, buddy.
Still with the draft.
Number 14, the Miami Dolphins are going to look to help out Ryan Tannehill with Devante Parker, wide receiver from Louisville. The San Francisco 49ers are going to try to help rebuild their defense with Arik Armstead, the defensive tackle from Oregon. And the Houston Texans got to help out their pass defense a little bit. Get, the second best corner on our board? Sometimes he's the first in some people's boards. Kevin Johnson, the corner from Wake Forest.
I like it.
Well, thank you, fans, for listening. I want to thank you guys for coming in studio. You guys can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. You can follow me on Twitter at betjimtowin. Any questions you have about the draft, any comments, like us on Facebook, subscribe to that YouTube channel.